Anyway, speaking of money, let's get into launching a tech startup in 30 days.
Yeah, our first guest is going to tell us how to launch a startup in 30 days. Welcome to the show, Pedro Adao.
Hey guys, good morning. How are you?
Hey, good morning. Good afternoon, rather. How are you? Go ahead.
Yeah, Pedro, you look a lot cooler than us right now. In that hoodie.
It's like,
So tell us.
I live at the beach, and it's a little cloudy today, so a hoodie was appropriate. So, but you guys look great.
Oh, well, thank you, Pedro. So tell us, what's the difference between launching a startup and being profitable in 30 days?
Yeah, well, I mean, the main question about can you start a business in 30 days? And I'm like, of course you can. You know, businesses actually, I think, start in moments, and then they're built over time. It's like conception, right? You conceive in a moment, and then it grows. And so right now, guys, there's so much opportunity. A business is nothing more than solving problems for money. That,
Right.
and it's at its most basic level, that's what a business does. You solve problems for money. And we find ourselves in a time where there's probably never been more problems ever in almost every sector of society. So I think this would be a great time to start a new business or redefine or shift your existing business.
yeah, Pedro, let me ask you this. Should the emphasis be on starting something quickly or doing things well?
Well, I would say, my preference, I lean more towards starting quickly, because the fact is, I know so many entrepreneurs or aspiring entrepreneurs stay stuck in the analysis paralysis, and perfectionism has stolen so many dreams from people. And the fact is that I will always take imperfect action now over possibly perfect action later. And so I would say start, obviously do the best you can, be as prepared as you can when you start. But so many people spend weeks and months and years doing research and business plans for things that they really know nothing about. They could actually learned by just starting the business, and in the first few weeks kind of validated all of those ideas and assumptions could have been fleshed out in much faster than just thinking about it over and over and over and looping in our minds.
So tell us, what are the first 3 things we should do when we launch something new?
Yeah, so I think there's some major questions you got to really have clarity about, because obviously there's so much in the world of advertising and online, and it's very noisy, as you guys know, right? So one is, I think the first question is, who do you want to serve? If business is all about solving problems for money, then it's really all about serving. And so I take a very servant approach to how I run business. I am serving people. So who do I want to serve? Who do I want to work with? Do I want to work with stay-home moms? Do I want to work with frustrated executives? Do I want to work like who? I always say, who is your who? Who do you actually want to work with? Who do you want to solve problems for? Who do you enjoy spending time with? And so that's one question to ask. And a lot of folks say, gosh, Pedro, I don't know really. I like a lot of people. Then the next question is, well, then what do you do? What problems do you solve? Right? Then sometimes some folks don't really have clarity about who they want to work with. We call that your niche market, but they know what they do. Oh, Pedro, I'm really great at helping people lower their cholesterol in 30 days or less, completely naturally. Great. So you solve cholesterol problems. You solve high cholesterol. Well, okay, that's what you do. That's the problem you solve. Then let's go find a group of people, or what groups of people need their cholesterol lowered. Oh, there's these kind of people and these kind of people. So sometimes you start with the who, and then from going deep and studying your who, you can determine what your product or service should be. Sometimes you are very clear about your product or service, and then you want to find out who are the people who, one, who are most aware of that need, and then two, have the capacity to pay you to have that problem solved.
Yeah,
so I would say those
Pedro,
are the first 2 things you want to get clear about.
I do want to ask you, how specific do you need to get on the who? I can give an example for like our audience. Like we want millennials and Gen Z, people in their 20s and 30s, urban, suburban, at least that is my dream audience, right? So I'm specific in that regard. However, I don't have a character in front of me. Okay, his name is Pedro. He wears this. He has this for coffee. He wears a hoodie on, and he likes to go to the beach. How specific should you craft this character who is your potential user?
That is a great question. And here's the one thing I've kind of coined this saying is, it's carve your niche so tight, Julia, that only you can fit inside of it. So literally, you've got a great start, but I would say even you can dial that thing in. And so essentially what you're doing is you're dialing your niche so far down so that what happens, and there's how I launched my businesses so quickly, is I was able to carve my niches so tight that people in my niche rather have learned from me these concepts and what I train than other far better known marketing consultants, trainers, and guru mentors that have been around for 20 years, who are way, way, way more famous than me. But because I carved my niche and I spoke to that audience, and I tailored these conversations, I tailored the messaging, I tailored these strategies just for them, I all of a sudden became the person they wanted to learn from, and I was able to basically earn their business, and they chose to work with me instead of other more famous guru brands and mentors. And I believe the niche, Julia, is the only way to actually break through the noise. Because so many other brands and big companies are speaking to the market at this level, at 30,000 feet. But by drilling down and getting as specific as possible, ideally you would call them out by name, right? Then that's how you break the noise, you get people's attention, and they want to stick with you and follow you. And so you're absolutely right. Like, you want to go as deep as you can and still have a niche big enough to achieve your financial ambition. And what most people don't realize is you don't need hundreds of thousands, even tens of thousands of people to create an amazing, amazing business for yourself.
Well, Pedro, we really appreciate your time, and we think your advice is excellent.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, and enjoy the beach for us.
Yeah,
We're jealous.
enjoy the beach. I am jealous.
Will do. Great talking with you guys.
Yeah. Look, at this table, I would say you're more like the go-getter. You're like, oh, let's do it. Let's go do it. And I'm like on the other end. I'm like, okay, let's figure out everything.
Yeah, you're a bit more
I'm like
thought out. I'm more of the just do it type.
Yeah, so
of
I think we balance each other out pretty well. But I do think he made an excellent point that, you're not supposed to think through everything. You're supposed to just go for it when you have a somewhat of an idea, because not everything is going to be perfect, and things going to happen. The best plans change.
Paralysis by analysis is a problem.
Yeah.